Hmm. Let's see what's going down. Let's see what's going down. Uh, I think the last time I was streaming this, I'm still at the beginning of the game. I'm in the middle of a case right now. I think we had took like a brief intermission or whatever you want to call it. Um, I had um saw the lies through everything that they were saying. First, that they were saying that I shot the dude from behind, and that wasn't the case when I had to present a picture that showed that he was shot point blank range in the chest from the front. Uh, then they were saying that he was dining alone and whatnot. Then I ended up getting a doctor's report. He had just got a tooth pulled, and because of the anesthesia, he couldn't eat for 3 hours. And he was there. He had it got Yeah, went to the doctor's office at 1, left a little past 2. No, got there at 12, left a little past 1, um, and then arrived at the restaurant around 2. So he still couldn't eat. And there was a steak that was on the table in the picture. Blah blah blah. Was eating, and they slipped up and mentioned that they told him to be quiet and blah blah blah. So my bad. I'm trying to give y'all a brief rundown. And so um then a girl was mentioned. I forget her name. Uh, uh, but I think this is around the time the Europeans brought their sense of their judicial system over to Japan, maybe I don't know. And so let me see. Yeah, so the waiter that worked there said that he was there working undercover, and by him being undercover, it's because some like crime has been going on, and the judge asked what was going on. He was all like, "It's classified" or something like that. Like I can't tell you, which is crazy. But uh, he ended up having to give up his business card, which had the seating arrangements, and the characters he used showed that he had time to write those characters. Other than that, he would have wrote like a more simplified version of those words, like the kitchen and all that stuff. And then they turned the card over and realized that he was uh, he worked for the police, uh, and so I believe, yeah, the dude is sick, obviously, because he keeps coughing and coughing up blood and all this stuff. But he ended up opening up about it, saying that the two witnesses that they brought in swore an oath to them that they would be quiet, not to mention the mysterious lady. And because right now Ryu, I think his name is Ryunosuke, however you want to say it, he's being blamed for the death of the dude because they saw him with a gun in hand, when in reality he had went to go greet the guy, and then went to sit back down at his table, and then that's when he heard a gunshot and went back over there and picked up the gun. And the moment he picked up the gun was the moment that the detective came out, and the quote unquote witnesses saw him shoot him or execute the guy, which wasn't the case. So after exposing all the lies within their uh, testimonies, whatever you want to call it, uh, the judge asked for them to go retrieve the girl that was there and bring her in for questioning so that they can question her. So I believe that's the point we're at now. We're going to be waiting. See trial part 2. This is episode 1, so I just started. Uh, my bad if things get a little spicy or dicey. It's raining pretty hard, but I think it should be okay. Emphasis on I think. So here we go. It's 11:38 a.m. They needed to send a report back to England by noon, showcasing that they found the killer, and it would be easy to blame one of their own kind. Because think about it, they just got introduced to this new system. You got two Englishmen coming to your lands. One of them dies, And it would be crazy to blame another Englishman. Like, hey, yo, this person did it. And I feel like this is a test to see if they're gonna be real with it or not. So I mean, it's going to show if they're gonna uh, perverse the law and not be authentic and be genuine. As if they're just gonna accuse anybody. Uh, I believe it's a test to see if they're gonna do things right, which kind of sucks. Which means that dude was just sacrificed. So I don't want to think of it like that. So we're gonna take it easy. So he says, "Excellent work, Ryunosuke. That was superb." He says, my heart was in my mouth the entire time. It was almost unbelievable. I mean, looking at you in there, you were drenched in sweat, your eyes popping, your knees knocking, and you were grinding your teeth. It was a grim sight, but before I knew it, you started finding inconsistencies in the testimonies. Oh, I was right, so testimonies. Um, I think you might have a natural talent for being a lawyer. He said, forget it, it's terrifying. If I get through this, I don't ever want to see the inside of a courtroom again. That nigga laughing. He says, anyway, I ain't gonna lie, Kazuma is real. He's the type of friend that you want. He was willing to sacrifice his dreams to protect his friend. But we'll talk about that later. Anyway, it looks like we've exposed your phantom lady at last. Miss Giselle Brett, a student from Great Britain, is she? That's what I was trying to tell everyone from the start. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone. There was a young woman with him, like I've been saying all along. Yes, you have, haven't you? I might not be overly confident in the courtroom, but my powers of observation are one thing I'm sure of. Yes, I can see that. So about this young gentlewoman. Thanks to our detective friend, she was hastily escorted away from the scene. Did you see what happened with that? No, I didn't see any of it. I was just on my way out of the restaurant myself, and on the floor next to Dr. Wilson's table, I noticed there was a gun lying on the floor. Oh, so I said that wrong. He noticed a gun. I said that he was shot, and he went over there to pick up the gun. No, he was on his way out of the restaurant, and he noticed a gun was on the floor. And so that was planted. So obviously when he bent down to pick it up, whoever was meant to execute him was going to kill him and then dip. Bang. I didn't have time to think about where the sound of the gunshot had come from. The waiter ran over to me, looking as white as a sheet, and he bundled me into some sort of small pantry next to the kitchen. Fast thinking by the detective, he apprehended his suspect without a moment's delay. Yes, and because I was shut in the pantry, I have no idea what happened outside in the dining area. There you are. Well done, both of you. Here we go. Now it's finna get spicy, you dig? Professor Mikotoba. Well, it seems I was right. The pair of you make an outstanding team. You've exceeded my expectations, I have to say. Yes, it seems you planned this from the start. You arranged things so that I wouldn't be able to act as a lawyer in this trial. Our modern country is still in its infancy, our justice system even more so, which is why I firmly believe that we need to send our brightest young stars overseas to learn all they can. I wanted to avoid a situation that may have resulted in your study tour to Great Britain being cancelled. He says, well, it makes no difference. Lawyer or otherwise, if I'm the kind of man who can't help his best friend avert the worst crisis of his life, I shouldn't waste everyone's time by going to study overseas anyway. What? What are you saying, Kazuma? So that's your stance. I was afraid you'd feel that way. Kazuma! Well then, it looks like it all comes down to you, young man. To me? Yes. You need to prove your innocence and uncover what really took place in that restaurant. I must say, I very much want to know the truth. After all, I have a personal connection to this case. Come to think of it, he said the same thing earlier this morning, didn't he? If you don't mind me asking, Professor, did you know the victim? Yes, I did. As you're probably aware, Dr. John H. Wilson was a visitor. Was a visiting professor at UMA, and it was I who invited him. Oh, I see. I didn't know that before. Anyway, you're about to go into battle. The victim was a university professor from Great Britain, and a well-known one at that. Naturally, our government is looking to identify and punish the culprit as quickly as possible. But let's not forget who we're going up against. The gentlewoman whose involvement our police bureau went to extraordinary lengths to hide. Yes, and I'm sure the prosecution will be using every tool at their disposal to quash your case. But I've no doubt that you pair will put up a good fight right to the last. Best of luck. Thank you. Okay. Now then, I need you to run an errand at the university at once. There's something I think we may need. Good luck, Kazuma-sama. Who is she? What's her name? Defending Naruhodo. Court recess is over. Oh yeah, recess. That's crazy. You think about it, recess. Please make your way back inside the courtroom at once. It's time. Let's get back to it, partner. My bad if I sound a little congested. It's because I am. Let's go in there and deal a decisive blow before those old fossils know what's hit them. Says what? Thank you. Really. I'm telling y'all, Kazuma is so real. What for? See, he ain't even think about it like that. Well, if you hadn't said you believe me, then I'm fairly sure I already have been found guilty by now. Look, I have faith in you. As a lawyer and as a friend, coming from you, that means a lot. If I'm found guilty in this trial, he's really going to give up on his dream of studying abroad. That's the kind of true friend he is. So this isn't just my battle anymore. Whoever we're up against, we absolutely cannot afford to lose. Alright then. I'll save the thank yous for after the trial. You could treat me to one of those sukiyaki meals I like from Yume Cafeteria on University Street. With an extra large portion, of course. He said, yeah, homie. Here we go. We're back at it. Good Lord. The court hereby resumes the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Prosecutor Aochi, have you managed to subpoena the witness? Yes, Your Excellency, against all odds. And thanks to a certain young stripling, the prosecution is now under rather painful scrutiny from the government. Let the government scrutinize. That's their job. There's nothing to worry about. It's highly unlikely that the good relations we forge with Great Britain will emerge from this trial unscathed. Do you still think it's nothing to worry about when the new treaty breaks down and our nation founders? Again, terribly sorry. If the friendship between our nations is really so fragile, then the treaty isn't worth the paper it's written on. You really have nothing to worry about, Ryunosuke. What do you mean? A secret trial, anxiety over some foreign government's opinion, a bundled investigation, missing witnesses. Is this what our nation's justice system is? Is this the Supreme Court of Japan or of England? He said, shut up, you jumped up rookie boy. You and your friend know nothing of the situation our nation finds itself in. That boy sweating. Now he's trying to compose himself. By aligning ourselves with the great world power, we'll become strong. Diplomacy has never been more critical. Steady political maneuvering is what will secure our futures. I won't deny that I'm no expert. I'm just a student, and one who could arguably study harder too. Standing here now in our Supreme Court, there is one thing that I feel very strongly. A country that fails to uphold the truth in its justice system is a country with no future at all. Well said, Ryunosuke. Despite the wide-eyed look of terror, he says, "You little brats." But it all hit home, you know what I'm saying? They felt it. But thank you, Council. This court is the pinnacle of our nation's justice system and exists solely for the pursuance of truth. With that in mind, this trial will now resume with the next witness taking a stand. The visiting student from Great Britain, Miss Giselle Brett. Giselle? He always banging his head on the table talking about Your Excellency. He's I don't know how to describe it. He's like an Uncle Tom type. Let me not say that. Well, what a delight it is to welcome such a fine gentlewoman to Japan, and from such a distant land. Tea. Someone bring English tea. In England, no discussions take place without tea. Is that true? No idea. So, could we possibly trouble you to state your name and occupation for the court? Says, of course. My name is Satoru Hosonaga. I don't know why I keep things about to say Gojo. I've been working on it. Okay. I think I skipped it by accident. Yes, we know all about you already. Where are your manners? In England, it's always ladies first. Is that true? No idea. More importantly, a little earlier today, you said something to me. You said your powers of observation are the one thing you're sure of. I think I did, didn't I? Your description for this amazing sight was simply a woman. Your powers of observation aside, your powers of description are sorely lacking. So, dear lady, once again, we may trouble you for your name and occupation, please. It's because she's speaking English, huh? Hey, lady, but what? The lady says her name is Giselle Brett. She comes from London, England. She's a visiting research student currently enrolled in Yuma University. My thing is, he's the one. So listen. Hosonaga is the one that got everything set up. Got these people lying. Had the other two witnesses lying, and the other two witnesses was an old man who likes to sell relics, and the other guy was actually a military officer, which means he has no honor to begin with. He was willing to lie, but the guy with the glasses is the one I was talking about. The detective, the police officer that was acting as a waiter at the restaurant. He's been orchestrating all these lies. So him being a translator for her, to me, is no good. No good. He should not be her translator. They should find another English-speaking man who can also speak Japanese. We're a treat to hear the dulcet tones of the delightful language of the British people. I'm afraid I don't understand the words you said, but it was as beautiful as a hummingbird song. As far as I can tell, the detective is translating her words faithfully enough. Yes, I agree. You'll obviously do fine in England, cousin. Her English Doesn't rattle you at all, does it? Nor you. You've clearly been paying attention in your English classes, Ryunosuke. The court thanks the beautiful lady for taking the stand. Now, we may trouble you to confirm something, Miss Brett. 3 days ago, at a restaurant called La Carnaval, a grim murder took place. The court has been led to believe that you were dining there with the victim, Dr. Wilson, at the time. Is that correct? And he's whispering so we can't understand him. She says, yes. She said more than yes. This could take some time. So even though she's studying here in Japan, she can't speak any Japanese? She'd like to apologize for disappearing from the scene. She says that she was due to make a presentation at the university, so she had to leave immediately. Interesting. Or you're the one who engineered her escape. I was just following special orders from the Bureau. Well now, dear lady, would you be so kind as to cast your eyes over this photographic print? Seeing as you were so unfortunately present at the scene of the crime, could it be that your resplendent eyes caught sight of the wicked perpetrator, perhaps? Apparently, it was a very frightening and sorrowful sight. Do you mean to say, yes, it would appear the lady did witness the crime? The very moment when the accused standing right there in this courtroom shot the victim in cold blood. Order in court. Did you hear that, Your Excellency? Here we have an absolutely conclusive witness statement. Well, it looks like it's clear now. Clear who our real enemy is. It's Britain. Unfortunately, I will have to ask you to formally testify, if you please. Kindly tell the court the exact nature of this frightening and sorrowful sight you described. He's telling her exactly what to say. A frightening and sorrowful sight. Oh my God, I gotta go through this again. I had arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day. The professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only a beef steak. After a while, the accused came over to greet the professor, and they got into a fierce argument. What? Then, not long afterwards, the accused took the professor's gun and shot him right before my eyes. Wow, the cap. The cap. I don't carry a gun myself, so obviously I couldn't have been the culprit. The cap in that sentence.
Yes!
Any kind of argument with the professor at all. For real. Quiet, you filthy wretch. Look at you. You black-hearted blackguard. I see why a lot of these Asians don't like black people now. Look at how they talk. And look at this Snow White angel. Seen a lot of videos on YouTube of Asians praising white people and then like assuming the nature of black people, but are very quick to take our culture, our music, our dance styles, and I don't know, it's weird. The world is weird. You're still making the same mistakes, Ryunosuke. You must have blurred out when you're goaded like that. That's a lesson you need to learn. But he's so annoying. Of course, I was at the scene as well. I took statements from this lady and the two witnesses who testified before and reported back to the Bureau. It was decided that Miss Brett was not involved, so I let her go. testimonies of the last two witnesses were completely worthless, however. Well, even so, on the day in question, the lady was wearing the same outfit as she is today. As you can see, there was nowhere about her person where she could conceal a firearm. She's a lady. She could easily conceal a firearm. I would think she could hide a gun almost anywhere in that outfit if she wanted to. Unless and until the precise location where the witness is to have hidden a weapon can be shown, this is moot. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. Those are the witness's own words on the matter. That's ridiculous. If only I was allowed to lift up her dress, I could prove it. I'm thinking about doing anything rash, Ryunosuke. But I didn't find the gun I picked up. There must have been another gun there that day. You're right about that, which means this lady was hiding a gun somewhere. Yes, that's what we have to prove now. And to do so, we will need to pull her testimony apart. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Yes. Okay. The cat. So, a frightening and sorrowful sight. I had arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day. I'm a press. I learned from the last stream I need to press. After 2 p.m. in fact. It's really quite a late lunch, isn't it? You don't keep up with the latest fashions from Britain, do you? Late luncheons are in vogue, isn't that right? She said no. A decisive English no has quite a sting to it. The gentlewoman is currently working in the victim's research laboratory, it seems. So it was apparently a daily occurrence that they would lunch together. But on the day in question, the victim had another appointment at the clinic first, which we can prove from the medical report card that was submitted as evidence earlier. That's right. Miss Brett and the victim went to lunch following the victim's treatment, which is why it was so late. I am hungry. It all makes perfect sense. Such wonderful logic. What a shining example of English intelligence this fine gentlewoman is. So you both arrived at the restaurant. What happened next? The professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only a beefsteak. And I'm gonna press. He was unable to eat, you say? And that was because he just had a tooth removed at the Hada Clinic, correct? That's right. Was Miss Brett aware of that fact? It seems so, yes. She heard that the professor was to have some dental treatment. So that would mean that it was you who ate the steak pictured here. Is that right, Miss Brett? I bet you're gonna have to do something with the steak. It's probably not a beef steak. It's probably something else. That's right. The print you have there shows the table exactly as it was left after the horrifying events. Exactly as it was left. What a horrible experience to have traveled to a distant island on the far side of the world and be embroiled in such a tragic incident. Have no fear, my dear lady. I swear I will crush the evil fiend that has subjected you to this terrible plight. Wow. So the victim, Dr. Wilson, had nothing to eat or drink at all? That's right. Other than some carbonated water. Just water? Yes, the professor was unable to eat, but he had been given permission to drink water. So it appears that the diners toasted their lunch with a glass of water each. Yours, Miss Britt, has a profound bearing on this case. Well, well, how fascinating. Do tell us, what is this profound bearing? It. Anesthesia. Extraction. So yes. Just before he went for lunch. This nigga came in. I don't. Well, technically, that's not even a spoiler. I don't even know who that is. It's the latest medical advancement in the West. Yes. We're talking about this new idea of anesthetic. Imagine not being able to feel pain though. No. It says no food or drink other than water for 3 hours. Why can't I examine this like the way I can with everything else? There's only one glass. I get it. I see it. There's only one glass. I see it. Become apparent when the time is right. The defense called for the witness's last statement to be formally added to the testimony. The significance will become apparent when the time is right. I could really use that phrase. I hope there are some more useful tips that you're picking up from this experience than that, Ryunosuke. And I said, cheers. The cap?
Yes!
Yeah, there's only one glass. Do with this photographic print. Just a short while ago, you spoke with this print showing the victim's table at the crime scene. That it was exactly as it was left. Well, that is, it's odd, very odd. Come on, man. Ryu, stop acting like this. What is it about the print that looks odd to you? Well, obviously, it's the cheers. Miss Brett just told us that she and the professor said cheers over a glass of water. But if that's true, there should be 2 glasses on the table, not 1. You're quite right, Counselor. There's only 1 glass pictured here. Are we supposed to be impressed by this nitpicking over minutiae? What possible difference does the presence or absence of a glass make on the case? Minute, you say? Could it be that the detective here removed a glass from the table to conceal the lady's presence? Of course not. I would never do something so reckless. But there should have been two glasses on the table. Or are you going to try to tell me you can clink with only one? You're quite right. I certainly took two glasses to the table. So what did the lady say? It would seem that it was Miss Brett who took the glass from the table. It was also terrifying everything that happened. I panicked and thought I should try to hide the fact that I'd been there at all, she's saying. How can they... He said, sorry. Wow. Sure, the court before. This is of no consequence at all. Oh, please. Remember that this student had just murdered the lady's lunch young companion before her very eyes. To blame her for concealing a glass or two in her state of disarray. She concealed a glass? Yet that you are now going to accuse a vulnerable young and beautiful woman of mischief? To a small handbag she was carrying. See? By well-to-do women in England. So the beautiful lady has very graciously explained how and why she removed the glass from the ceiling. Now, however, the fact remains that this glass has absolutely no bearing on the case. This student has been trying to confuse the court with logical reasoning, but in the end, it comes to nothing. I low-key want to steal off on this man, bruh. The lady has offered a satisfactory explanation as to why she removed the glass. I think henceforth we can consider the matter to have no bearing on the case. For the defense, are you in agreement? Nah. Shows that it has some deeper significance. So she took the glass away in her handbag. There's a deeper significance there. It's the handbag. Wait, the lady put the glass in her handbag, you say? So do try to keep up. It's already been explained to the court that all English gentlewomen carry handbags for small items. Let me see. A little while ago, Ms. Brett stated the following. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. But what she forgot to mention was her handbag, in which it would be perfectly possible to conceal a gun. Said you're right. Look at him. Look at him. Oh, look at me. What? Stop playing, bruh. I had a feeling you'd pick up on that too. He said you vile blackguard. Wow. It's really very simple. The gunshot was heard when the defendant picked up the gun from the restaurant floor. As he didn't fire the gun, we can deduce there must have been another firearm at the scene. The true murder weapon, if you will. You can't seriously be suggesting. Inspector Hasanaga. Did you or did you not search Miss Giselle Brett's handbag on the day of the murder? No, sir. I did not. As I thought. In other words, another gun, the one that was actually used to kill the professor, could have been hidden in Miss Brett's handbag. Look at this. Uh-huh. So what is the meaning of this, Inspector? The meaning of what, Prosecutor Auchi? Why on earth did you not have the lady open her handbag and show you the contents at the time? Thanks to your bungling incompetence, now she has to endure these uncomfortable accusations. Wow. I do not like him. Auchi, I do not like him. I know this is episode 1. I do not like him. He reminds me of Uncle Ruckus from Boondocks. Brilliant work, partner. Now we have a chance to expose a real woman behind the mask. Do you think so, Kazuma? You're gonna see blood, watch. Yup. Well, what a sorry situation. Clearly you have no faith in the police. As I said, I did not search the lady's handbag after the shooting, simply because it was unnecessary. Unnecessary in what way? I ought to thank the student lawyer, really. What is he getting at? I have a piece of evidence here that I had completely forgotten about. This photographic print. Is of a photograph that I thought would be prudent to take immediately after the shooting. As you can see, it clearly shows Miss Brett's handbag. Well, I never. You can see right through to what's inside. That's cap. That's cap. Apparently, meshwork bags like these are the height of fashion in London at the moment. So the contents are clearly visible. Exactly, so there was no need to search the lady's handbag. If there had been a gun inside, it would have been immediately obvious. Well, there's nothing to imply Miss Brett's guilt here. Wow. I'm still gonna break all this down. I've been breaking y'all down the whole time. I still seen a few more lies. Wait till I go back to questioning. Wow. If I was Kazuma, I would punch Ryu for acting like that. I ain't gonna lie. Mama, we're gonna let him slide. So Naga, you will submit that print as evidence at once. Man, let me check this out real quick. Stop playing with me. Long enough to cross-examine the witness counsel. Considerable evidence. As the photograph and picture submitted into the court appears to have no further significance, I am satisfied that there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling. Wait, hold up, what? Like a bull. What am I not? Okay. There's only one logical conclusion: that the pathetic rookie slumped over the bench over there, before us, is the only possible perpetrator of this crime. Oh my god, bro. Okay. Just when I thought I was beginning to turn things around, I'm in a worse situation than I was at the start. This is I must say, you put up quite a fight for a rookie student. But the weak are meat, while the strong eat. You are wasting your time. There is no way to defeat true justice. In fact, you could chew on to your heart's content from the inside of yourself. Can't be happening. Am I really going to be found guilty of a crime that I didn't commit? Come on! Come on! Yeah, these two were the other two witnesses. Nah, bro. No way!
Yes!
Come on! He can rule on this case yet.
Objection!
It's getting tedious. When his excellency deems that the trial is over, he gives his ruling. That is the most basic protocol of the courtroom. Your Excellency, just a moment ago you said this. As the photographing print just submitted appears to have no further significance, there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling. Now, that means that if there was a problem with the evidence, some significant detail, I mean, then ruling on the case at this time would be out of the question. This is blatant straw clutching. Look at this photographic print. All it shows is the handbag the gentlewoman was carrying on the day in question. Because he said he left the crime scene as is. I mean, it was altered. You better know what you're doing. I get it. I get it. I see it. I see it. I see it. Actually, the new evidence submitted by the detective has not undergone the court scrutiny. I failed to see how we can glean any new information from this handbag. Nah, I see it. I see it. I see it. You see? And then look. 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 That's missing. I see everything right now. It's all good. I already got this in the bag. I see it. I see it all. But this isn't Louise. There's something about this photograph which just doesn't seem right. If only I could put my finger on it. Can I put my finger? Like, bro, look at this. And then look at this. That's it. Very well. I will grant the defense one final opportunity. But be warned that if I am unsatisfied by your response here, the trial will be over with immediate effect. Do I make myself clear? Oh, you got it, big dog. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to tell me twice. I got you. But take another look at the photograph and print Inspector Hudson like I submitted before. What? What? Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Hold on. Oh, I kind of see something right there right now, but it's further away. What?
Yes! Objection!
To positively identify anything wrong with this picture at all.
Hold it!
Ah! Are you serious?
Yes!
There's some description. Whew, okay. I think I'm thinking too far ahead. Let me take it
Objection!
one step at a time. One step at a time. Oh, you're supposed to note everything. It's like a bull. A firm connection to the case can be shown. And I can't present anything right now. Keep pushing, and it's all over. So I was thinking I should keep digging and digging in the hope that I might uncover something. We can cross-examine evidence, right? You can't possibly hope to do that. I can't allow you to pursue what is little more than conjecture. Come on, bro. I have to find a link between that. What? Oh. Fired at close range, fatal hemorrhage from pectoral ballistic trauma, no exit wound. Bullet did not pass through the body. Oh, I am in a very bad situation right now. As to, I do not know what evidence needs to be brought so that oh my God, this is stressful. This is very stressful. Ah, I see. I see it. All right. So you can't see it here. Okay. Yeah. I see it. Oh. Okay. Yet another print. Yes, Your Excellency. I believe photographic prints are an amazing invention. When we humans look at a scene, we miss things. But in a photograph, things we may have overlooked at the time are recorded forevermore. Do hurry up. Stop playing with me. Okay. Okay, I see. To inconvenience this poor lady any further, really would be quite inexcusable. Actually, we may need you to stay with us a little longer if you don't mind, Miss Brett. Ooh. You see, it's very clearly visible in this other photograph. Unusually shaped burn on his wrist. The reason is recorded here forevermore. What? Ah. You can't fool me with your little bluffs, boy. If that's your game, then let's see how it plays. Show the court exactly what you mean. Yeah, that explains the reason for the victim's burn.
Yes.
The beef steak? Actually, the point is the metal plate the steak was served on. The plate? Your Excellency, are you alright? As you can see, there's an emblem on the plate. I would guess it's some sort of trademark of La Carnaval. He says, the emblem on the plate and the victim's burn are exactly the same shape. Yup. He says, you're spot on. Which means the victim must have suffered this burn while he was present at the restaurant.
Objection!
Even if that is the case, we can't know if it happened on the day in question or not. It could have been the day before, the day before that. It most likely happened at some other unrelated time. Well,
Objection!
Sally, prosecutor, Aichi, the chances of that are extremely slim. To my why? What you talking about? Why? The outline of the burn is clearly discernible. Such a serious injury would have caused quite a commotion in the restaurant. Wouldn't you agree, Inspector Hosonaga? I can't imagine having missed such a terrible disaster, certainly. Look at him, sweating. I was looking at the picture of the wound, that it wasn't suffered very long ago. And although it's not a particularly large burn, it's extremely well defined, as the defense just pointed out. That was no mild burn, that's for sure. Can you be more specific, Inspector? Well, let's see. If the plate was at around 90 degrees centigrade, a burn like that would have taken around 3 seconds. Inconceivable that the victim would have let out a scream of pain. And I've been investigating at the restaurant for several weeks already, but I have not heard anyone scream at all. As the head waiter of La Carnaval, I can testify to that without hesitation. But you're a detective, not a waiter. Yup.
Yes!
There you have it. Something isn't right here. As the detective said, anyone who burns themselves on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds will scream in pain. There's no question of that. And yet Inspector Hasanaga never heard the professor scream, not on that day or any before it. Strange thing is, on the day he was shot, I didn't hear him cry out either. What are you suggesting? They burnt him after they shot him. Or if the person had carelessly laid his wrist on the plate or anything like that 3 seconds that day. That would be beyond careless, I think, counsel. And the rest of us in the restaurant, myself, the sergeant, and the old antiques dealer, all of us, without any question, have heard him scream. I'm telling you, I'm gonna solve this case. Wouldn't you agree, Prosecutor Ouchie? Yeah. Uncle Ruckus. His name is Ruckus from now on. Well, I suppose. So the question is, why didn't a single person hear Dr. Wilson scream? I almost don't believe it. You know, do you think they burnt him after they killed him? I never dreamt we'd arrive at a conclusion like this, but I'm starting to think that maybe we've been led into a terrible trap. There's only one explanation I could think of to make sense of this apparent impossibility. Come on. On the day in question, when he suffered the burns to his wrist, Dr. Wilson was already deceased. I'm telling y'all. No man could remain silent while his wrist was burning on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds. It's clearly impossible. Apart from one in particular situation. Are you suggesting? Yes, it's only possible if the man was already dead. Mm-hmm. And this is gonna tie in to what I figured out with how the chairs are. I didn't notice it at first in the first stream, but now I'm starting to see in the pictures the chairs are moved differently. There's a that vase, that clear vase is missing in one of the. Man, this whole crime scene was just messed with. And the inspector's talking, or the detective's talking about, oh, I left the scene as is. Nigga, cap. That's cap. That's so much cap. That's madness. Yes, sir. Come on. The victim was killed by a gunshot. That's right. It's absolutely right, Your Excellency. This is just another ridiculous ploy by the rookie student, but clearly he has no grasp of the
Objection!
facts. Come on, man, stop playing with me. No, Prosecutor Ruckus, it's you who has no grasp of the facts. Says, I beg your pardon. Sounds just like Ruckus. As soon as it became apparent that the victim had suffered that burn while at the restaurant, this whole case was turned upside down. Or have you not grasped that yet? Grasped. Your Excellency, the court must hear from this witness again. If it's true, as we now believe, the victim was already dead before the gunshot was heard. And it's highly likely that Miss Brett knows something about it. Incredible. Didn't anticipate this twist of events. So they probably messed with them. He was probably there was probably poison in his drink. And she one of the glasses, either the glass she took had evidence of the poison, that's why she took it. I don't know. I don't know about that. I'm sorry to say, Miss Brett. Yeah, you would have to forget your luncheon engagement. The justice system in our country may be in its infancy, but rest assured, all reasonable doubt must be dispelled before I'm prepared to pass judgment. Look at her, shook. Don't smile like you got another trick up your sleeve. Okay. Say yes, of course. I mean, I'd be delighted to help. Oh, now she's speaking Japanese, especially if it helps the relations between my country and yours. He said, see, I knew it. Are you gonna, okay, I thought she was gonna reveal her little eyes. Well, of course I do. I'm studying in your country after all. But then, why have you been speaking through an interpreter until now? My mother tongue, the Queen's English, is the most refined and elegant language in the world. As a gentlewoman, I try to avoid speaking in your vulgar tones as much as possible. But it seems the men in this land possess none of the chivalrous virtues of English gentlemen, so I can see that I should have to lower myself to communicating with you all on your own level. Well, you are the epitome of a true nigga. She just dished your con and you still, bruh. I'm telling y'all, man. That's how they are, and I've dealt with it personally. That's how a lot of them are in real life. They praise the white people and diss us black people, but then jam our music and dance like us. I don't get that. In that case, Miss Brett, I will now ask you to testify in your own words about the events leading up to the death of the victim, Dr. Wilson. So we're finally going to hear her own words on the matter. Things are getting interesting, Ryunosuke. We need to the inspector's own words too, because he's talking about he didn't mess with the crime scene, but he did. Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burnt his wrist like that. When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in a toast. As far as I've heard, the post-mortem report showed no other possible causes of death besides the gunshot. If there's some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please, do show me. But of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up on it anyway. She's basically blatantly saying, yeah, I killed him, but so prove it. That most captivating and beautiful testimony will go down in Supreme Court's history. Thank you. Wow. I hope that is the last time I'll have to sully my lips with the coarse tones of your unbecoming tongue. Oh, forgive me. I do hope I haven't insulted anyone. Not at all, not at all. It is a delight merely to hear you speak, dear lady. And it seems very clear from your testimony that this boorish talk of the victim's burn is utterly irrelevant. I'll be speaking to your country's Minister of Justice about what has happened here today. The Minister of Justice? Man, bro. May that irritating little bully of a student be given the harshest punishment possible. And then she gonna say amen on top of that. Wow. Thanks. Was that a prayer then? Well, you have to forgive the irritation, Miss Brett, and put up with the cross-examination now. I expect you notice that this little bully of a student, as you put it, doesn't miss much. I'm sure I don't need to remind you, Counsel, that this will be your final cross-examination in this. If you fail to demonstrate any problems with this witness test, come on. I got you, bro. Just let me hold it down. You feel me? I got you. Let me take care of this, man. There you go. Get yourself right, my boy. I wish you could sip some water. You need to hydrate yourself. Then you may proceed with the cross-examination. Come on. The victim's death. I got 4 stars left for pens. Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burnt his wrist like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Let's make sure you don't know. I always press, you feel me? But his hand was on a searing hot plate for at least 3 whole seconds. You could not have noticed. Do you think so? Let me ask you something. Ever since I arrived at this courtroom, and even still now, the fly on those unsightly black trousers of yours has been wide open. You cannot have noticed, can you? She says, haha, what fun. You hadn't realized. The dear lady is absolutely right. As your friend, you've embarrassed me as well as yourself, Ryunosuke. Why didn't you tell me? Was a true English gentleman. He chose honorable silence over a vulgar scream. Can your tiny brains imagine such a thing? He says, I think my tiny brain can. Wow. Wow. He says, well, I can't. She says, anyway. When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in a toast. How many times can I press when I think about it? I hope there's no limit on that. When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in a toast. She has a... As far as I've heard, the postmortem report showed no other possible cause of death besides the gunshot. If there's some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please do show me. But of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up on it anyway. I feel like Drewski right now. What do you mean by that? That's how I feel right now. What do you mean by that? Okay. A man's life. If there's some other way a man's life can been taken. That's why I could have been taken without leaving a trace. Please do show me. Can be taken without leaving a trace. If someone is shot or strangled or stabbed or thrown from a height, however, a person's life is taken, there are always telltale traces on the body. Quite right, dear lady. And as our police forces thoroughly examine the body of the deceased, there can be no doubt. Isn't that right, Inspector Hasanaga? As I said, I always aim for a flawless investigation. There'll be physical traces with all those causes of death, that's true. But maybe there's some other way of killing someone that doesn't leave a mark. Poison! Heaven forbid you doubt me, young man. You're going to have to tell everyone how exactly you think the professor did lose his life. I'm trying to get to the point to where... So look. Here's the thing. So obviously you have this. Look at this picture. You see something slightly way over here, but you know what I'm saying? That's irrelevant. When that's not irrelevant. You can kind of see it. But look, directly next to it, there's nothing. You feel me? You feel me? So then look, we go over here. Boom. Now look, this is right here next to it. All of a sudden, it's right here next to it. You see what I'm saying? And then there's a chair right here, while this chair is turned around. You feel me? It said there's no exit wound, so that's probably why there's no blood right here. Okay. So then, boom. Now get back to over here. The chair is right here. And remember, the police detective, the waiter with the glasses, Hasanaga, said that he didn't touch the crime scene. He left it as is, took the pictures, and then dipped. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that was altered was the glass in her purse, supposedly, and that's the only thing missing. But then there's inconsistencies throughout this. You feel me? But look. I'm trying to understand how I'm going to expose that part of the picture. Otherwise, I'm afraid your argument falls rather flat, doesn't it? This is stressful and it's making me mad. Because you know, this is real life. I would have the power to be like, hey, look at these two pictures. What is different? You know what I'm saying? Like how you get them random photos. It was like pick 5 differences in each photo. You get what I'm saying? It's like that. Perish the thought, calling such a sweet young lady's innocence into question. On my honor, I, Uncle Ruckus, will cut down any who dare cast such aspersions. A way of killing someone that leaves no trace. We need some evidence to back us up here. Yes, evidence. I'm pressing. I gotta press everything. Inferior. What do you mean by that? I just said that, like Drewski said. Well, what do you mean by that? In the lands of the Great British Empire, the police store everything found at a crime scene for later examination. But in this country, you investigate once, and that's the end of it. Isn't that so? Quite right. La Carnival is open for business as usual today, just days after the incident. Exactly, which means that even if the investigation takes a different direction, vital evidence may be lost. He coughing because he's like, oh snap, look at him. It doesn't even occur to your naive detectives to try to preserve the crime scene. I'm trying to be as tactful about this as I can, you understand? The lady is as formidable as she is beautiful. Wow. That's amazing. He's actually admitting our police may be flawed. Perhaps prosecutor Uncle Ruckus is finally starting to see sense. I very much doubt that. Still, there's something about what Miss Brett just said. There was a moment before when something didn't seem quite right. What do you think, Ryunosuke? I think it's going terribly. No matter how much I press her, I'm not turning up any new information. Yes, as I suspected, she's a tough witness. Because I can't present the photos. Because I need to be able to... I don't know, this is my first time playing. I need to get to a point to where I can cross-examine the evidence. Not just her, but... and I need multiple pieces of evidence. So I need to... this piece and this piece, or like this picture and this picture, they don't align. How do I get to that point? Can I even get to that point? Find a way to break a testimony or the cross-examination would be over. But that would mean I have to find a way. There must be some clue somewhere to help us find a chink in her armor. There is one thing I noticed, something that's been bothering me. Bothering you? You mean about Miss Brett? Actually, no. About the person standing next to her, Inspector Hasanaga, the detective. He seemed to react a little strangely to Miss Brett's last statement. I was wondering if it might be significant, if it might present an opening maybe. Alright, I have an idea. Try pressing her on that last statement one more time, if you think so. But this time, instead of targeting the woman herself, let's see what we can get out of the detective. Alright then, I wonder what caused him. Come on, this is stressful. Okay, I'll find out soon enough, I suppose, once I press Miss Brett in her last statement again. So I'm finna press her. Alright, so I've had the right idea to keep pressing. I get it. I ain't trying to hear none of what you saying.
Yes.
Pressing you on it. Inferior. What do you mean by that? Everything's under the crown scene for the examination in this country. You investigate once, that's the end of it. Isn't that so? And then look at him. Quite right. Like kind of was over for business as usual today, just days after the incident. Exactly, which means that even if the investigation takes a different direction, vital evidence may be lost. It's like whenever he gets nervous or like shaken up is when his cough gets like, you know what I'm saying? There it is again. Reaction is just the same as before. Why? So now the detective has been in the stand with Miss Brett as her interpreter. Things are very different now. For this testimony, the detective is just listening to what the Englishwoman has to say. This could be a golden opportunity. What do you mean? Come on. When people are actually testifying, they're usually very careful not to let anything slip. However, when they're listening to someone else speak, you'll find they often let their guard down. He's lost in his own thoughts. Time to pursue the man in his train of thought. Sorry, pursue? I'll explain how to do it now, Ryunosuke. It's all to do with the witness marker. Okay, so more elements are being added, so I might be able to, present multiple evidence at once, and not just one piece at a time. At the moment, we're focused on Miss Brett, who's a person actually making the current statement. But by moving the marker left and right with the D-pad, you can turn your attention to other people in the stand. While you're looking at the other witnesses, you'll be able to pursue them with X. If you can catch the person at just the right time, you might uncover some new information to pursue. Come on! You ever notice a strange atmosphere amongst the people on the stand? Take a good look around.
Wait.
I'm doing it. It won't let me go over.
Excuse me.
Yeah. That boy said, excuse me. He said, what's the meaning of this? Uh-huh. Alright, I didn't mean to shock you. He really was lost in his thoughts. Deeply. It looked like you were thinking something just now, Inspector. Perhaps having heard what the lady next to you, had to say. If there's something you'd like to say, please share it with the court. Come on, Ruckus. It's a delightful Englishwoman who's testifying at the moment. But he's at the stand, so this nigga gonna testify too. Is that how it works? Absolutely not. The detective is in the stand, which makes him a valid witness. Not to mention the fact that he's intimately involved in the case. Matsunaga, do you have something to add in relation to the statement just made by Miss Brett? Come on. He says, well, yes, if you don't mind, I would like to speak. What you got to say? The lady is right. Our country's police practices are not as modern as those used in Great Britain, which is why I, Structural Hosonaga, always strive to make every investigation I'm involved in flawless. What do you really mean by that? See? I'll tell you what I mean. I won't have evidence lacking on my watch. I'm not afraid to take everything I can from the scene of the crime. It's preserving evidence, you see? I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief. I'm not ashamed of what I've done. A crime scene thief? Well, looks like the lady's remarks touched a nerve there. Take this for example. This is the bottle of carbonated water that I took to the victim's table on the day in question. And yes, it's lost all of its fizz, having been opened 3 days ago now. But it was carbonated water. I don't care what anyone says. There's some left in the bottle. I can see it. It says, one day our police force will be among the best in the world. The time is coming. I guarantee it. Come on. Uh-huh. She shouldn't have did that. Oh, but I got quiet. I'm into this. You may resume the cross-examination, and the inspector will calmly control his fervor.
Yes!
Wait, what? That's from ballistic trauma. Yes. Ruckus, shut up. I said he was already dead. That was the wrong assumption. They put him to sleep, burnt him, lifted his head up, then shot him. He was asleep.
Objection!
Oh, my bad. I got really until you're able to show the court evidence to disprove that this is a complete waste of time. Oh my God. He says I concur. Prosecutor Ruckus is right. If some other man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please do show me. In a foreign language that I don't recognize. Do you know what it says, Kazuma? I think it's French. This must be very expensive water. But what does it say? That's what I was asking. Then go to France and ask. You could just say that you don't know. Hey, what is the last drink Dr. Wilson ever had? It looks like there's a little left in the bottle, although it's just plain water now. You know, I've been sweating so much I'm absolutely parched. Have a sip of this to keep me going. No, you can't do that. For one thing, that's evidence. You can't go drinking evidence. We don't know what might be inside, do we? You never cease to amaze me. In more ways than one. He says, I wonder, could there be anything in this water? What's the matter? You're gone quiet all of a sudden. I think I might have just worked something out. An interesting possibility. So that was it. That was it.
Yes.
Let me see if I can do this. Let me see if I can do this. What's this? The bottle of water? Actually, there was one method of killing a man without leaving a trace that comes to mind. Obviously, I'm referring to poison. On the day of his death, we know that Dr. Wilson drank from this bottle of carbonated water. Could it be that there was poison inside? Look at his reaction, man. I can't even. Could it be that the professor actually died after taking a sip from his glass? And on that day, who was sitting at the same table as the professor and able to slip the poison into his drink? There's only one person who could have possibly done that. It could have been the detective. Nah. But if he brought them the drinks and the glasses to the table, he had to have been the one that poured it. And as he was pouring the professors, he probably, like, in a slick way, like, ugh. Or when he went over, no. It was probably when he went over there to talk to the professor while the professor was distracted looking at him and talking. Like when they was greeting each other, that's when she, you know what I'm saying? Drop that in there real quick. That could be the thing.
Objection!
This is just such a thing without a scrap of evidence. You little rookie imbecile. Have you even considered the delicate situation our country finds itself in now? Have you forgotten that we have only just signed an accord of friendship with the British Empire? Have you even the vaguest inkling that your rash accusations could jeopardize the entire treaty? This is not a political arena. This is a trial to determine one's individual's guilt with respect to one crime. What? The fact that this woman is British makes no difference. We are here to determine the truth. I will silence you forever for this disgraceful attack. Wow. It is you who should be silent. Look at Uncle Ruckus. Dear lady! Praising her in such regard to a judge. Man, where did that come from? She just snapped. I'm afraid I may have spoken unfairly before. I offer my most humble apologies. Hey, to what are you referring? I described your police force as inferior, but no matter how inferior they may be, you still investigated this particular point thoroughly, I believe. The bottle, I mean, Inspector, and whether it contained poison or not. Of course. Have you forgotten what my guiding principle is already? I strive for a flawless investigation every time. He says, I don't believe it. Naturally, we tested the inside of this bottle and its contents. And what did you find, Inspector? I ordered tests for every toxin that's available in this country. He said, in this country at the present time. We could find no trace of poison of any description in the bottle of carbonated water, Your Excellency. The tests were meticulously carried out by the chief coroner himself. Oh my god, I wish he would stop acting like that. I'm very grateful to all you Japanese. You successfully established my complete innocence in this horrid affair. Thank you. That the pleasure was all yours. He says, I was so sure. This can't be right. Everything falls into place if he was poisoned. I think that cross-examination has clarified everything. As the prosecution have asserted, a shot to the chest from this gun is the only conceivable cause of death. It's not over yet. I'm just glad that I must ask the counsel for the defense. Do you have any further new evidence to present the court at this point? Can I cross-examine 2 photos? Nah. I was just asking earlier, what's her name? Okay. Oh! Please tell me she's clutch. Please tell me she's clutch. I need something clutch right now, please. Says, what is the meaning of this? Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Shisato Mikotoba, judicial assistant to the defense. Mikotoba? That's his daughter. With nowhere left to go, she appeared like a bolt of lightning. And in her hand, she carried a small package wrapped in a furoshiki cloth. Please. To be continued. Alright. I'm gonna do what I did last time. I'm saving right here. And I'm gonna end the stream. We're gonna take a break for now. And I'll probably stream something else later. In like an hour or two after I eat, relax, and get some more energy. Because I said earlier that I was hungry and I still haven't gotten anything to eat. So I'm gonna take a little break. We're gonna kick it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be back and we're gonna see what's good. I might finish this one. I ain't gonna lie to you. I might finish. You know, but yeah. I catch you boys. Yeah, later. Do 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 do. And hello.